Hi everyone. So we'll be starting in a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, be there, and also we'll be taking your questions. So your request we will take in a moment. Initially, we'll be introducing Ankit, and I'll ask a couple of questions. After that, the floor would be open for you guys to ask any sort of questions, but try not to ask any stock specific questions. And as those who are regular, they are aware these are purely educational spaces. So any names taken thereof would be pure illustrations for educational purposes, no sort of buy sell recommendation. So you are advised to consult your financial advisors in case you wish to make any decisions. So Ankit will be joining shortly. So we'll be taking all your questions. So uh, be there, have some patience, and be ready with smart questions. So we'll be taking your questions as well. And guys, at least those who are attending spaces on regular basis, a sincere request. Appreciate if you appreciate our work, do let us know in comments, or maybe you can DM. Also, if you have any suggestions, you are more than welcome. And if you have any speaker or expert you feel which we should request to come to our spaces, so you can also name them, tagging me, or you can let me know by any means, so that we can bring in more people and let the knowledge spread across retail investors for greater good. Ankit,
Yes, bye.
how are you?
Good, good.
So we are I hope we both are audible. Anyone from these spaces, Nathan or maybe Ankit, can confirm by raising their hand, or maybe any smiley. Okay. So Ankit, you are able to hear me properly, right?
Yes, yes. Loud and clear.
Welcome, Ankit, advisor. So his writings have been featured in Morning Star many times. He is also three-time winner of Safal Niveshak Equity Research Contest. And as far as his educational background is concerned, he is a BCom graduate from Kolkata St. Xavier's College, and he did his postgraduate diploma in business management from Xavier Institute of Management. And he has a very rich experience, and previously he had been uh, into equity research with Eureka Stock and Share Broking Limited for almost an year. And a very, very noble thing which we say is teaching. So he has faculty where he used to teach finance and investment and portfolio management to PGDM students, and that is for more than 6+ years. Or he's a partner and co-founder at SmartSync Services founder. So Ankit, very warm welcome, and so kind of you to agree to our request for coming and sharing your knowledge with our audiences. Yeah, over to you, Ankit.
Yeah, thank you, Prince, for the generous introduction. I hope I am audible. And also for inviting me to your platform. I have been following your spaces since a long time now, while other commitments do not allow me to be a regular attendee, but I do listen to the recordings very regularly. So you're doing a great job, Prince. Since you have already given the introduction, I not like.
Yeah, thanks for the appreciation, Ankit. And it is all due to kind brothers like you who have been so kind to me. So, with this, without wasting any time, let's kick start the questions. So we'll be I'll be asking some questions from Ankit, and meanwhile, the podium is also open for all of us. So you can feel free to send in the request, and we'll be taking your questions. But as I already ask you, please don't ask any stock specific or anything like which we won't be in a position to answer, because this spaces is meant to be educational. So we will stick to that. So Ankit, a very general and very important question: how it all started for you, and what made you start your services at Smart Sync Services? And so would really love to know from you.
Sure. So I'm assuming you're talking about the journey of investing first. So the short answer
Yes,
would be Short answer would be pure luck and serendipity. And slightly longer answer would be something like this. So somewhere during the second year of my stint with XIMB, Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, I knew that stock market is where I need to be. But if you recall, in 2009 was probably the worst time to get graduated with very few job opportunities. I vividly remember our seniors and our juniors have had a much better job environment when they graduated. But you know that you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So, with the benefit of hindsight of last 13 years, I'm speaking on behalf of my whole batch at XIMB. All of us did pretty well despite such a poor start to the career in terms of lack of opportunities in the market. Tough times actually help you be more courageous and take risk in your life. I also took one risk while most of my friends were looking to switch to a high paying jobs as market opened up gradually. I did something opposite. I chose my passion over income. I knew the promoters of Eureka Stockbroking Services in Kolkata. They were starting a research division, and I knew this was a fantastic offer. So, at the age of 22, 23, straight out of college, participating in the analyst meet of JP Infra IPO was a defining moment for me. While the whole investing community was recommending a buy, I dared to write an avoid report at that point of time. Unfortunately, my seniors were not impressed, and I don't blame them. I neither had experience nor could communicate my thoughts properly. But I learned one thing, that I could form an independent view, and I did not get influenced by what others were saying. So, and even though my research was not great, but as the outcome was favorable, I got hooked onto it. So, in a way, that was my entry in the market. So, it started somewhere around, say, 2010. In terms of smart sync services, it started a lot later, and it's an interesting story, but I'll try my best to keep it very, very short so that we can keep more and more time for discussion on stock market and investing. So between 2012 and 16, I was doing three things very diligently: reading a lot of books and Buffett letters and stuff like that. Number two was being active on Safal Niveshak, both as a reader and as a participant of various contests Vishal used to hold. And number three was and deep diving on as many businesses as possible for a beginner. In a way, I should credit Akhilesh, my partner, who is also who also happens to be the CEO and MD of our group company, Synchronic Solutions and Services Private Limited. So Akhilesh, Safal Niveshak, Vishal Khandelwal, and Anshul Khare. For these four people are actually should be credited the most for the start of Triple S, because through Safal Niveshak only I could develop friendship with all of them. And Achilles is the only person because of which I could gather the courage of quitting my family business and focus on investing full time. So while my family business is still on and I do spend about 3 to 4 hours a week there, but Triple S is where my soul and skin is for the last 5 years. So I moved from Kutch to Ahmedabad for Triple S, and since now we have some exciting opportunities in Bangalore, I've recently moved to Bangalore, though Triple S is still registered in Ahmedabad, and I keep traveling from time to time. So that is all about the history of Triple S and myself in investing. Now, quickly in 2 minutes, I'll just brief you what we do at Triple S. We are SEBI registered investment advisors, providing in providing investment advice and financial planning services to retail and HNI investors. We have two model portfolios, lump sum and SIP. We also have a financial education platform called Mission Smile, where our mission is simple: to educate our investing community about long-term investing. And we don't do it by becoming a teacher; we do it become by becoming a student ourselves. And we invite a lot of guests and veteran investors on our platform so that they all can learn together from there. Uh, that's it, Prince Bhai. I hope I could answer your question.
Yeah, Ankit. And Ankit, when it comes to social media or maybe market, we see a lot of noise. But I see you amongst few people who are different in the sense you guys don't like to predict. As you said, don't predict, prepare. So would really love to know how this thought developed and how have you developed the required patience for this, because everybody gets a thrill by seeing various news across market and all. So how can you, condition your behavior becoming so patient and with the investment framework which you have developed over a period of time? Yeah, Ankit.
So, Prince, I'll start with a disclaimer that we at SmartSync Services did not invent this phrase or philosophy. The original patent lies with Howard Marks and Warren Buffett. So, you can Google and find one memo of Howard Marks where the title goes, if I remember correctly, it is something like you cannot predict, but you can definitely prepare. And then in one of his Buffett partnership letters, not the Berkshire Hathaway one, I'm talking about the partnership letters. Buffett quoted Noah, where he says that predicting rain doesn't count, building ark does. So we just rearranged these words and made it more catchy by using only three words: don't predict, prepare. So in the market, we have plenty of self-proclaimed gurus who will keep telling you, "मैंने बोला था," and you will never be able to check it कि उसने जो बोला था वो आखिर उसने किया था कि नहीं, right? In fact, one rule book which many follow on social media is make 1,000 predictions. 20 of them will definitely work. Then double down on those 20 predictions and grab your attention. So we at SmartSync Services have made a very conscious choice of staying out of that. We have learned it the hard way by making mistakes in our own investment journey that you cannot predict, but you can definitely prepare to a great extent. And that's why that George Soros quote, which is very famous, pardon me if I'm not exactly quoting the same thing, it's something like this. It's not whether you're right or wrong, but how much money you make when you're right or wrong, or how much you lose when you are wrong. Uh, how much money you make when you're right and how much money you lose when you're wrong, right? So if you break down this statement of Soros, you will understand that someone as great as him also accepts the fact that you will not be right all the time. So you need to prepare in such a way that you end up doing reasonably well, even when you are wrong. So that's why don't predict, prepare. And by thinking on these lines on a regular basis, we came up with this idea of SIP investing in direct stocks. So I I have spoken about it to many of my investor friends and have received a lot of flack and also a lot of criticism. But it's been 2 years now, and uh, not only our customers and investors, we at SmartSync Services, all our partners and myself, we have all our soul and skin in the game. Uh, all our incremental savings over the last 2 years have gone into this SIP portfolio where we have fixed equal amount in those 20 stocks every month at a fixed date. So, and we have two main rules. Number one, no cyclical business like metals, real estate, PSUs. And number two is admit that you don't understand valuation and you let market to decide the valuation. So just an example from our SIP portfolio. Again, let me put a disclaimer first. We are SEBI registered investment advisors, and we are talking about a stock of our portfolio. Should not take that as a recommendation. Do your own due diligence. And right now in this space, we are telling you that we hold the stock, but we probably, if we change our mind, we'll probably not come out on Twitter space and announce that we have already sold the stock. So please be very clear about that. Now let's come to that example. So there is one stock, say Indian Energy Exchange, where we are very bullish on the long term. So in our lump sum portfolio, we bought coincidentally at the peak of the COVID crisis in the month of March 2020. But since our SIP portfolio started in August 2020, so we have been buying this stock along with the other 19 stocks each and every month at each and every prices. So, for example, we bought the stock at 20 price P, and we also bought the stock at 100 P. And right now, the P would be somewhere around 45, 50, if I'm not wrong. I've not checked it very recently. So the idea is, as we continue to believe that there is a decent growth in earnings and cash flows that lie ahead of this business, we would not try to interrupt the process of compounding. So we are not predicting the sale and target price here, but we are preparing against risk by not putting all the money at one time, right? So, and it is not a perfect business. It also has high risk from the side of government and competition. So only time will tell whether we are right or wrong. And when we see that those risks are really starting to play out, we might sell the stock also. But today's sitting here, we are not trying to play the valuation game. we'll buy low, sell high. That is something which we don't want to do in this SIP portfolio. We believe all these 20 stocks are good long-term compounders. Again, when I talk about long-term compounders, we don't have the Asian Paints and Pidilites and of the world, because when we started this portfolio, according to us, they were already trading at obscenely high valuation, where we don't see the growth giving us any comfort. So all these 20 stocks is where we believe the growth in earnings and cash flows will give us comfort to not worry about the valuation, in the sense that I know that valuation can go up and down, but I'll cater the valuation problem by spreading out my buying over a period of time. So there is one problem with this rule, is that unless you have a steady stream of cash flows, you will not be able to execute this. But this is how we, so like you said about don't predict, prepare. This is how we are positioning our portfolio, by not predicting but preparing. I hope I could answer you, Prince, properly.
Yeah, Ankit, very well said. And Ankit, so I would really love to touch upon and want to know what is core to your investing process and what is your screening criteria. You talked about n number of stocks you keep and you do regular SIP in all those stocks. So prior to that, what is the screening criteria which you follow on the basis of which you short down that n number of stocks you will keep in your portfolio and yeah.
So I may disappoint you, Prince, here. So I completely believe in chaos and serendipity. I have stopped using screeners for generating investment ideas since long. I just try to regularly network with good quality investors, read a lot of non-investing books and try to relate them in investing. Plus, some of the best performing stocks in our Triple S portfolio had been first found by Akhilesh, my partner, with his sheer insights and guts and very little analysis. So, in fact, I almost rejected them during our discussions, only later to find the merit in his arguments. So we believe a lot in these kind of. So I'm not advocating don't look at screeners at all. If screeners work for you, please go with that. And we are not advocating that please follow this process only because it works for us. It may not work for you, but this process is working for us a lot, because when you interact with different style of investors, when you interact and internalize what you read from different sources, uh, there comes a Lollapalooza effect, which Charlie Munger very famously coined that word, where insights and ideas will come as a flash. It will not come as a series of process. That is what we believe. So that is how we go about it. So we do research, we do deep dive, but we don't look at uh, screen. We don't do it in a structured way where we'll screen the companies and then look at them, and then based on that we'll uh, look for idea, because we believe that idea can come from anywhere. So we keep looking for ideas all the time.
Right, Ankit. And I know you strongly emphasize on networking is a very important thing in investing. So I would also like to know from you the investing karma started where you keep on bringing smart people to share their experiences and how they have delved in various market situations from past 2 3 decades. So would really love to know because I have myself seen many of your podcasts and they are really very helpful, and knowing the small nuances of investing from experienced people is really one thing which help you a lot in your initial years. So where did the thought process kicked in and you started this very good initiative?
Sure. So, Prince, Mission Smile is an acronym where if you break down the all the letters, it will come at making new stock market investors learn it through engaging research. And we try to keep following that process. As in, and if you think about what was its genesis and how it all started, it started as an experiment. And in fact, the seeds were again conceptualized and sown by Akhilesh. He said we should make a platform where people can subscribe to our research, and they should not have to come to us or email us or call us. They can just go to that platform and look at our research and just consume it at a convenient time, at a convenient place, when they like. That was the basic idea. So we have been lucky to have great investors sharing their, as in, so it started like that, and it evolved a lot during the last 1.5 year of inception. We started with just a webinar a month, then introduced Triple SP Pathshala, where we talked about a different investing related concepts. And now, since the last 6 months, we have made a format of three webinars each month. Number one, webinar from our Triple S and Mission Smile family. We deep dive on a business and present that. Again, it is all educational. We don't try uh, to sell our ideas, or and we give proper disclosure whether we are invested in the stock or not. All those things are there. Number two is from guests, often our peers in the industry. Like recently, Manan Patel, who is a prolific investor who might not have a very good social media presence, but he's a very good investor, and I know him for last 2 years. He made a wonderful presentation on HOEC. We don't cover HOEC, neither are we uh, recommending that stock, but we would highly recommend you to go and watch that video and try to understand how can an investor, how is Manan as an investor looking at a company like that, right? And number three is from veteran investors who have at least 2 decades of experience. This third webinar series is called Investing Karwa, which you're talking about. So we have been lucky to have great investors sharing their investing journey, their struggles, mistakes, and victories. Till date, we have had 5 such sessions, and the investors who graced our Mission Smile platform with their august presence are Professor Sanjay Bakshi, Vishal Khandelwal, Mr. Abhishek Basu Malik, and Mr. Gaurav Su. And the recent one, which is very close to my heart, is The Magic and Miseries of Microcap Investing by Mr. Atul Rawalji. So, because that was very, very, very important, the microcap investing one, we kept it free for all so that more and more investors can benefit out of it. In fact, the recording is also there on the platform which you tweeted today, actually.
Ankit, I just completed the 4 hour recording today itself. And guys, I highly recommend you to have a look at it because you will get n number of case studies where it is very thoroughly and in easy language, it is explained that you can relate with that and the small, small nuances you can pick. And that could be very helpful in any framework of investing which you carry. So I would highly recommend Atul Rawal sir's video with Ankit. Yeah. So Ankit, I would also like to know about the some of case studies of your biggest winners or maybe losers you want to speak about.
Okay. So I'll not repeat the disclaimers again and again, but I hope you get the point. So I believe the biggest winners and losers should not be only in terms of profits and losses, but also in terms of your mind space and time space they had in your portfolio, right? So the two names that immediately comes to my mind when you ask this question are BKT and MHRI. Interestingly, both were bought at the same time in August 2013. And I was more bullish on MHRIL's Club Mahindra. I was more bullish on Club Mahindra than BKT at that point of time. While you know the result, BKT has been a 20 bagger. I think if I remember correctly, it was somewhere around roughly around 1500 crore market cap in 2013 when I bought. And today it is north of 35,000 crore. However, Club Mahindra has actually it gave me negative returns till the COVID times, April 2020. So I was holding on to the stock for 7 long years with negative returns. And only after the pandemic, it started doing well, which you have seen over the last 2, 3 years. So let's see how both the stocks perform. But in terms of winners and losers, I'll probably first think of these two stocks. Of course, we started SmartSync services much later in 2017, and both the stocks are there in our portfolio. So again, a disclosure. Please don't take it as a recommendation.
Right, Ankit. So, Ankit, see, you have been so vocal about financial planning and role of financial advisors. That has been one space which is misunderstood. Like when one person talks about it and say if he or she has any services, so that is taken comparatively not in a very positive sense. But see, I myself have observed that you need to have someone to guide you be it a financial advisor or maybe someone who has very rich experience of handling various asset classes. So I would like to know from you what view you have over it, the role of financial planning and someone to advise on that, so our audiences can really benefit from that.
Sure. Uh, I I might sound a little how do I say it? Maybe something controversial. What I'll say right now is that I have written one blog where I will even mentioned that if you read this blog, you will probably never need any financial advisor. And I can again claim this thing in 10 minutes. I can tell you the basic things, and you don't need the service of a financial advisor if you follow that. So the only role of a financial advisor is to just keep reminding you all those two, three, four basic things. You don't need a financial advisor if you have basic understanding of two, three things. And number one mistake or lie or mis-selling which is done by the financial advisor community. I am also being a part of it, so that's why I'm saying it might sound a little controversial, is is placing too much importance on financial planning. So if you look at the word financial planning, it has finance and planning. So people give too much importance on planning. I can tell you one thing for sure: if you do one thing, like you focus on your career or your business for the first 10 years of your starting of your journey, say if you graduate at the age of 22, 10 साल तक आप सब कुछ छोड़ के खाली 10 साल अपने करियर पे ध्यान दोगे ना, you don't have to worry about planning at all, because you will do so well in your life, you will earn a lot, and more money solves 90% of the problem of financial planning. बट पीपल फोकस टू मच ऑन द प्लानिंग पार्ट कि ये भी करना चाहिए, एसेट एलोकेशन इतना होना चाहिए. आई डोंट बिलीव इन ऑल दोस थिंग्स. You may disagree with me. I might sound a little controversial, but I don't believe in all sorts of asset allocation and all those things. What I believe in is simple: try to focus on your skill, earn a lot, save a lot, and invest. Invest in asset class which you are good at. I know people who have made lots of money in real estate. I have known people who have made lots of money by starting a business and earning on it for a long period of time. I know a lot of people who have done really good at stock market investing. And I think all these ways are very good ways of growing your capital. But the first thing which it starts with finance, not with planning. I'm talking just in the reverse way, what you will hear in all the Twitter spaces or all the discussions in the forum. Again, I might be wrong. This is my own biased view that if you focus on your finances, planning बहुत कम चाहिए. And we also do provide financial planning. We keep repeating the same thing to our customers, and you won't believe it. Some of our customers just need these this repeating of these things only once a year, and that is why they pay us.
Right, Ankit. But Ankit, don't you think like initially when most of the people come out of college and they are not aware how they just got into new jobs and all, their career just kick started and they have cash flow with them, but they are not aware how to invest it. So in such cases, how they should go about it? Like they need
So
some
simple,
advice
simple.
or they can.
तो उनके लिए सिंपल एडवाइस है, आप अगर if you have cash flow, start with investing in an index fund. That's it. That way you are participating in the equity market. You don't need to. All of us don't need to buy direct equity. All of us don't need to buy a direct equity. All you need to do is, मैंने जो बोला ना, financial planning. If your focus is only financial planning, is, again I'll repeat, try to do well in what you are doing, earn more, save more, and invest more. And how do you start investing? You can't start investing 5,000 in a real estate company, right? As in a real estate. So आप 500 रुपए से 1,000 रुपए से भी you can start an SIP. How do you start an SIP? Start with an index fund, because there you are completely eliminating the fund manager's risk. Buy a direct plan where you are not getting your cost of investment is the bare minimum, and you take a long term view on those index plans, at least 12 to 15% annualized compounding over the long term you will get. What else do you need for financial planning? बाकी सब जो है वो बकवास है, मैं आपको बोल दे रहा हूँ. बाकी वॉट एवर, तो इतना गोल बेस्ड प्लानिंग होना चाहिए, तो ये होना चाहिए. हम लोग भी करते हैं, मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ हम लोग नहीं करते. क्लाइंट की रिक्वायरमेंट आती है तो हम लोग करते हैं. बट इफ यू आस्क मी, ऑल यू नीड इज these two three things. Baki, I'll share a live incident of my client. In fact, someone tweeted about it on Twitter also, and then we engaged with him. सिंपल मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि एक मेरे कस्टमर आए, उनके पास 40 लाख रुपीज था, एंड ही सेड दैट आई वांट माय पेरेंट्स टू गेट 40,000 ऑफ रेगुलर इनकम, regular income generating thing, and I don't want this capital to evaporate over a long period of time. So I want this capital to be protected, and I want them 40,000 of regular income, so that they don't feel that I am taking care of them. They should feel that their own money is taking care of them. So हमने कितना सिंपल सा प्लान उनका बनाया, 40 लाख को दो पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दिया, 20 लाख एंड 20 लाख। 20 लाख डायरेक्ट इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट, डायरेक्ट इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, एंड 20 लाख इन लिक्विड फंड में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, जिसमें मंथली एसडब्ल्यूपी स्टार्ट कर दिया। एसडब्ल्यूपी अमाउंट वाज 40,000 पर मंथ, दैट्स इट। he started that thing in 2018, and in 2000 abhi last month he withdrew that because he said that his father want to use that money for some other purpose right now. So in that whole period, they withdrew 40,000 per month easily. उनका इक्विटी पोर्टफोलियो वहां से डबल हो गया बिकॉज थैंक्स टू द मार्केट इन दिस पीरियड। एंड आज जब उन्होंने क्लोज किया अगस्त में हमारे साथ में, he was sitting at a, he started with a 40 lakh capital and he ended up having 60 lakh total withdrawal plus capital. सो ये एकदम सिंपल चीज है, मैंने आपको अभी वापस से ट्विटर स्पेस में सिंपली बता दिया है, विच यू कैन कीप ऑन फॉलोइंग फॉर एनी क्लाइंट ऑफ योर्स और एनी फ्रेंड ऑफ योर्स दैट डजंट नीड एनी, एंड वी एक्चुअली asked for fees, and he paid us fees, reasonable fees for that also. So most of these financial planning things are very, very, very simple. You don't need any expert mind. All you need is a common sense and discipline. And that is why most financial advisors, and including ourselves, we make money by just reminding our clients about these two, three, four simple facts, nothing else.
Right, Ankit. So, guys, the floor is open for your questions. So, we'll start with Manish first, and you guys can send in your request, and you can ask questions from Ankit. And in the meantime, I'll also ask few questions from him. Yeah. So, Manish, you can unmute and ask your question.
Sir, I just want to ask that if you are making a portfolio of 20 stocks, so if something like Satyam or Yes Bank happens, so how will you firefight that event?
That's a very good question. That is a risk always when you are investing in the market. So if something like Satyam happens, of course, I'll have to sell that stock at a loss. But when you look at the whole portfolio construction thing over here, I will not lose a lot of money from one stock in my portfolio, because अगर एक सत्यम निकलेगा तो एक शायद फ्यूचर बीकेटी भी निकल सकता है उसमें से, राइट? सो वन फ्यूचर बीकेटी विल बिकम अ 20x, एंड एक सत्यम जिसमें मेरे पोर्टफोलियो का से 100 रुपी पोर्टफोलियो में कितना जाएगा, सत्यम में 5 रुपया जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ यू यू कैन नॉट एलिमिनेट रिस्क इन इन्वेस्टिंग एट ऑल। अगर आपका लमसम पोर्टफोलियो होता तब भी आपका वही प्रॉब्लम होता है जो आपको एसआईपी में दिख रहा है। I hope I could answer your question. Or if you have any follow up, you can ask.
No, sir. I will ask later on.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Manish. So Ankit, do you have any restriction on micro cap? Just you talked about, say, if we take a number 20, you have 20 portfolio stocks. So any specific market cap you are targeting, or that could be from a small cap, mid cap, or maybe any.
Yeah. So we are market cap agnostic. We don't have any micro cap, but we have stocks from something like 500 crore to 1 lakh crore. So we have that is the kind of universe we have, and we focus more on the business and the the competitive advantage of that business. Most of our 20 stocks are market leaders in their industry. I would not say all, but most of them. Like IEX, I gave as an example. BKT was another example. These are all market leaders. So we look for those kind of traits. Not necessarily a market leader, but those are some really good traits we look at.
Right. So any triggers or any data points you look for before zeroing in on your selection of stocks?
So data point से ज्यादा मतलब सबसे पहला main point is your understanding of the business. So like till now we don't have a very good understanding of pharma as a business. So we have only one stock in these 20 stocks as a pharma stock, which again is a bet on the management. Management has a very long track record of uh, good wealth creation plus good performance. So it made our job easier for us to bet on them. Apart from that, we have not touched any pharma stock. So first thing is understanding the business. Second is having the confidence in the management, and third is some sort of a valuation comfort. So to give you an example, we were tracking a couple of new age businesses since the time they got listed, but we waited for them to come to a reasonable level, and only from February 2022 they came into our 20 stock portfolio, not before that. So, so valuation, starting valuation pay, we try to make some sort of an adjustment. But again, since we buy in an SIP form, that is not the only time when we will be buying because it may go down, it may go up from there. So we don't try to commit all the money at one go.
Right, Ankit. So we have another speaker with us. Anurag, you can unmute and ask.
Hello.
Yeah, Anurag.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, these days we have seen a lot of these penny stocks has given a lot of returns to the customers, and returns like 1,000%, 2,000% in a year. And so the question is, do you think that we should make a portfolio of say 10 to 15 penny stocks, and we should invest in penny stock? I know it's very risky to invest in penny stocks, but do you really think that we should figure it out 10 to 15 penny stocks and take a risk for good return?
Hello.
Yeah, Ankit.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Ankit.
Yeah, yeah, audible.
So Anurag, I unfortunately I am not the right person to answer this question because I have never invested in penny stocks or even micro cap stocks, and neither have we recommended to our clients in smart sync services. Having said that, we are definitely trying to look at the micro cap spaces, not the. So that is why we had this webinar with Atulji recently, and our team is also working on 100 stocks between 100 crore and
Hello.
2,500 crore market cap. So, but it is still early days for us. We would not be able to comment anything right here. Uh, Good person to ask that question would be someone who has already invested in penny stock for a long period of time. So I'm sorry, I will not be in a position to answer this.
All right, no worries. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anurag. So Ankit, one question is like any potential sector or maybe spaces you are looking for, maybe two, three spaces which where you see value might, or maybe you see growth or some tailwinds in those sectors, investable to say short.
I'm really sorry. Maybe it's my internet or something. I couldn't hear the question properly.
So basically, any investable sectors where you see some tailwinds or maybe value is emerging. So any lucrative sectors you see for investing.
Okay. So I'll talk about two sectors. One sector which we have been bullish since 2019, just before the pandemic, and that is travel and travel related sectors. And we have full skin in the game. We have most of our portfolio, about 15 to 20% of our portfolio today is in the travel and travel related sector. Of course, the valuation comfort no longer stays now compared to what it was 2 years back. But given the tailwind in the industry, we continue to believe that it remains a hold for us. I don't know how long it will last, but if you ask me today, I think at least 2 to 3 years or 5 years is something I would be not surprised if it continues to do well during that time frame. So that is one sector. And rather than giving you a favorite sector, I can also give you a sector where I am very negative, or we at SmartSync Services are negative. Again, I may disappoint a few people over here, but we are negative on banks. Uh, I'm not talking about NBFCs. We are we continue to believe that NBFCs will do well, but banks over the very long term. See, valuation wise, banks became cheap in 2020, 21, and they are doing well now. That's a different thing. But we are talking about 5 to 10 year view in terms of banks. Uh, and I'll give you the logic. Again, we might be completely wrong in our thesis over here, and that's okay. And it's not that we have shorted bank stock. It's just that no, we don't have any bank stock in our portfolio. And I'll give you the reason. Uh, I believe that value for the customer matters a lot. So if you go back 10 years ago or 15 years ago or even 20 years ago, the customer, the end consumer was interacting with the bank directly. And that has stopped happening over the last 3, 4 years now, specifically after the pandemic. How often do we interact with bank on a daily basis? Because all these new apps, आप Google Pay बोल लो, Paytm बोल लो, there is Razor Pay and all, which makes business and your daily life so convenient that you don't have to visit a bank. So so जो बैंक का जो एक कंज्यूमर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से जो बैंक का एक ब्रांड एंड एक इमेज था, that is slowly losing out. So that pers- that is primarily the reason why we believe that even though from a valuation matrix, uh, from the point of view of NIMs, from the point of view of growth in loans and advances, they may continue to do okay. Economic की cycle अच्छी चलेगी तो banks will probably do better only. But the valuation premium which they commanded, say 10 years ago, I have my doubts that they may not be able to do that. And you can go and check in the US market over the last 10 years. The stock market of US has given fantastic returns. Uh, However, banks over there have totally lagged the broader market. And if you want to find the reason, you can go and check. The main reason is all these fintech businesses, fintech companies somehow taking not exactly the market share, थोड़ा बहुत तो market share भी लिया है, but more importantly, they are now closer to the consumer and not the banks. So that is precisely our reason to stay away from banks at the moment. We may change our view if we are proven wrong, and it is our own biased view about the banking sector. So take it with a pinch of salt, and you are free to use or not use our, as in our advice. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yeah, Ankit, you are well audible. So, Ankit, when you talked about hotel and also hotel is generally considered as an asset heavy business, and it also has its own cyclicality. So, don't you think like keeping hotels or maybe for a longer period of time, the angle of cyclicality will come into play?
So I didn't mention hotel, Prince. I mentioned travel and travel related.
Okay, okay.
So
Sorry.
we have a luggage company, we have a tour operator, we have a travel tech company, and we also have a MHRIL I've already talked about, which is a resort company, and which has an asset light model in the sense that they don't have to take loan, they work with customers' advances. So that is where there is no uh, uh, where an interesting point which comes to my mind is why you should not why I said that we don't look at screeners for investment idea. If you go to screener and look at the performance of Club Mahindra, you will probably not spend more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes on it, because the screener will show losses, screener will show high debt, screener will show lots of things which will not tell you the true picture.
The high debt is primarily because of two reasons. One is they have they lease a lot of their properties. Not all of their properties are uh, owned. Okay, so because of the changes in the lease accounting, they have to now carry out a lot of lease assets and liabilities on their balance sheet. And Skinner will show those lease liabilities as debt. Plus, they bought a Finland resort back in 2016, which I personally believe was a wrong capital allocation. But even though it was a wrong capital allocation, they did it with foreign debt, which, if I remember correctly, it would be less than 3% per annum, the interest cost. So again, तो वो कंसोलिडेटेड डेट में आपको इतना बड़ा डेट का फिगर दिखेगा, आपको लॉस दिखेगा, आपको लास्ट 2 इयर्स का, अगर आप FY21 के पहले की बैलेंस शीट देखोगे तो यू वुड सी इवन रिजर्व्स बीइंग नेगेटिव. So reserves being negative is understood as if the company is not making any profit. But you look at the cash position, they have more than 1,000 crore of cash sitting on their balance sheet. The reserves got negative because of an accounting entry. क्यों वो लोग बहुत aggressively सेल्स को बुक करते थे पहले, जो कंपनी का अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स चेंज होने के बाद it has got aligned in the right way. So today, for the last 2-3 years, what you are seeing on their P&L is the actual P&L. पहले का P&L में प्रॉब्लम ये हो रहा था कि they used to book a lot of their so they used to book 100% of their vacation ownership income, not 100%, actually 70% of their 100 vacation ownership income in the first year. But बाद में rule change होके they have to amortize that vacation ownership income over the next 25 years. So अगर आप 100 रुपए का सेल कर रहे हो तो पहले साल में सिर्फ 5 रुपए आएंगे, right? So that is how the whole thing changed the complexion of the balance sheet and P&L. You will not be able to understand these stuff if you just look at the screen. You have to follow the business, you have to read the annual reports, you have to read the con calls, you have to talk to the consumer. I'm not saying this is a perfect company. It has a lot of problems from the customer side in the past. However, I believe some of those are getting solved now, and some areas are still there which needs improvement. So it's not a perfect company. It's not a perfect investment also, and we are still evaluating. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग डाल के buy and forget हो गया है. If we see that things don't pan out as per our understanding, we'll probably sell it.
Right, Ankit. So, Ankit, when it comes to management, the first thing which comes to mind is the management should be honest, ethical, and investor friendly. As you talked about aggressive and accounting, so basically, even if that the rule of accounting permit that at that point in time, but again, don't you see the management which are into aggressive accounting? So Mm, uh, would they be that much investor friendly? What do you think about that? Because management is very crucial to any investment.
Yeah, that's a very fair question, Prince. Actually, a very good question. So, if you ask me, I don't rate Mahindra Holidays management very highly. So, my management के point of view से I will not give them very good marks as an investor. But the quality of business was so high, so good. It's just like if you want to take the analogy of, I think Buffett said that, or Lynch, I don't remember. You can you should look at businesses which even an idiot can run. That doesn't necessarily mean that any idiot will running it, but a business is something where it produces so much of cash flow upfront. And अगर आप वापस जाओ and look at what kind of business Warren Buffett says is the greatest of business. So उनका आप उसमें पढ़ लो, it's there in so many of his Berkshire Hathaway letters. The best businesses are those which can continuously invest capital at higher rates of return. Now look at this business. Again, taking your point, management, I agree with you completely. I don't think that it has the greatest of management. In fact, I would say it's a very average management. Okay, based on what they have done till now. But look at this business. 25 साल पहले जो इनके कस्टमर बने थे, उन्होंने 2 लाख 3 लाख 4 लाख दिया वेकेशन ओनरशिप लेने का. 25 साल तक इनको एवरी ईयर सब्सक्रिप्शन फी भी दिया to use those facility. और 25 साल में खत्म होने के बाद they go away and company continues to keep the resort and again sell it at inflation adjusted prices to new customers and use that money again to building new resorts. So आप सोचो एक अब नाउ कंपेयर इट विद एनी रियल एस्टेट कंपनी और होटल कंपनी. एक होटल और रियल एस्टेट कंपनी कैसे बनता है उनका बिजनेस. वो सबसे पहले जाके लोन लेते हैं, ये करते हैं, सेल करते हैं कुछ और तब जाके उनका स्टार्ट होता है. राइट. यहाँ पे देखो सबसे पहले तो पैसा आ रहा है. So that is the quality of business is what attracted me. But of course, customer side में issue है, management is not that great. So that is why it is available at a reasonable valuation. Even after 3 years from COVID lows, I still believe the valuation is not obscenely high. That is why अगर सब कुछ परफेक्ट होता तो फिर वो वैल्यूएशन ऑलरेडी इनका वैल्यूएशन बहुत अच्छा होता ना. Why that valuation is not saying a lot about the quality of business, because these all problems are there and we are betting on this business and we know that we may get wrong. That is why it is not the only business we are betting on. It is a portfolio of business, right?
So to summarize it, it would be like you see the risk reward in your favor. So that would be the essence of investing in such businesses, right?
Plus, right now we believe what we have learned from our mistake is that you should always respect the tailwind far more than anything else. So right now the sector tailwind is so strong that we believe it is good time for these kind of businesses, and we have been lucky to be associated with this business for some time. We would not try to be cheeky and try to think or try to be more intelligent. We will react. We will not preempt anything. We'll react in the sense बाद में जाके लगा कि नहीं ये बोल रही है 1,000 रूम्स ऐड करेगी लेकिन 500 रूम भी ऐड नहीं किया, देन विल प्रोबेबली सेल. या कस्टमर एक्विजिशन हो ही नहीं रहे हो, 2.5 लाख आज के दिन है, आइडियली आई वुड अज्यूम कि 2.5 लाख से 3 लाख तो पहुंचेंगे नेक्स्ट 3 इयर्स में. अगर नहीं पहुंचते देन वी माइट सेल. और इफ दे डू ऑपरेशनल कुछ ब्लंडर करते हैं, कैश अभी 1,000 करोड़ प्लस है, वो अचानक से गायब हो जाता है एंड दे आर नॉट यूजिंग दैट फॉर केपेक्स बट फॉर सम अदर स्टफ. Those are the things I will react and sell when I see that okay, it is not playing out as per. But right now, since the tailwind is so strong, I don't want to look at the valuation, look at the management wala thing. That is how we look at it.
Right, Ankit. So Manish, you were raising hand in between. So any question you have?
So, what is your view on the IT sector?
So IT sector, we continue to be bullish. Sector over the long term. I think Amaya is there on the call. He's a he's a much more he's an expert in IT. He would be in a much better position to tell you about the sector. We look at IT as a sector of among all other sectors. IT, we continue to believe it has a very good long term thing. अभी बीच में वैल्यूएशन थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा हाई हो गया था, ओवरऑल थोड़ा करेक्शन आ गया है. If you are betting on a company for a long term, even this is not a bad time to start taking your stocks, is what I would say.
Right, Ankit. तो अंकित एक कमेंट आया है दैट ऑडियंस इज आस्किंग टू स्पीक इन हिंदी, तो थोड़ा बीच में हिंदी में भी बात करते हैं. तो अंकित, सबसे जो डिफिकल्ट रहता है वो एग्जिट करना रहता है. सेल डिसीजन जो होता है, जो अभी तक मेरा जितना भी इंटरेक्शन रहा है लोगों के साथ, तो सबसे ज्यादा डिफिकल्टी लोग उसमें फेस करते हैं. तो आपका क्या क्राइटेरिया रहता है? जैसे आपने कुछ पॉइंट्स, तो अभी हम इसकी जो क्लब महिंद्रा की बात कर रहे थे, आपने बताया criteria रहता है. And on the top of that, with the fundamentals, do you also include technicals in any buy sell thing?
So again, this is very important question because I also completely agree with you. Buying or buying regularly is easy, and selling is the most difficult thing to do, right? And again, I go back to my one of my gurus, Charlie Munger. Keeps on saying that it is better to avoid loan rather than getting into loan and then trying to figure out how to pay off that loan. So that is what we try to follow in Smart Sync services. We try to avoid cyclical businesses. We try to avoid companies where buying at the right time and selling at the right time is extremely important. We try to buy those businesses where we take a very long-term view. So as I've already told you about two stocks which we have been holding for last 8-9 years. सो अगर आप लॉन्ग टर्म सेक्युलर बिजनेसेस पे जाओगे तो एग्जिट अगर आप गलत भी टाइम पे करते हो, it will hurt you much lesser than what you will do in terms of cyclical business. So we try to avoid cyclical business completely. That is the only reason that we believe that selling is very 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 difficult. कोई कितना भी आपको आके बता दे मेरा ये प्रोसेस है, मेरा सब कुछ डिफाइंड है, ऐसे करता हूँ, ये होने से ही करता हूँ, आई डोंट लेट इमोशंस कम इन, बट सेलिंग इज completely difficult. It's a completely different kind of an animal. You tend to do much more. So I think somebody tweeted this today about RJ, that you should think 20 times before buying a stock, and you should think 50 times before selling a stock. बिकॉज जो आप बेच दोगे वो फिर डबल हो जाएगा, ट्रिपल हो जाएगा, और आप बाद में खोगे सोचोगे, और जो आप रख के रखोगे उसमें ही आपको लॉस होगा. दैट इज व्हाट इज द स्टोरी ऑफ मोस्ट ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स. सो दैट इज व्हाई टू कम्बैट दिस प्रॉब्लम वी ट्राई एंड फोकस ऑन दोज बिजनेसेस जहाँ पे आज जब खरीद रहे हो तब आपका कोई टारगेट प्राइस नहीं है. सो हमारा जो भी पोर्टफोलियो है अभी 20 स्टॉक्स का, वी डोंट हैव एनी टारगेट प्राइस ऑन एनी ऑफ दोज 20 स्टॉक्स. It is always a work in progress. We keep on attending the con calls, recording our observations. आप लोग देखते ही हम लोग कॉन कॉल्स के सारे ट्रांसक्रिप्ट डिटेल में बनाते हैं ताकि हम लोग के पास सब कुछ रहे, हम लोग उसको गो थ्रू कर सके. इनफैक्ट वी हैव कॉन कॉल्स ट्रांसक्रिप्ट फॉर लास्ट 15 quarters of all the companies which we are tracking, so that we can keep referring to them all the time. But we don't commit with a target price कि अरे ये इतने में आएगा तो बेच देंगे, बिकॉज वो स्टॉक कहाँ तक जाने वाला वो हम लोग को नहीं पता, किसी को भी नहीं पता. इज व्हाट वी अंडरस्टैंड.
Right, Ankit. So, Ankit, if I ask you one investing idol, who would be that?
वन इन्वेस्टिंग आइडल डिफिकल्ट है बोलना क्योंकि देर आर मेनी इन्वेस्टिंग आइडल. वन 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 सो मतलब आई कैन गिव यू 10 नेम्स. वॉरेन बफेट, चार्ली मंगर. हाँ, वन बोलोगे तो मैं फिलिप फिशर का नाम लूंगा, बिकॉज इफ यू लुक एट आई हैव प्रोबेबली रेड common stock and uncommon profits at least 3 to 4 times completely, and there are different sections of the book which I have highlighted, and वो तो innumerable times में पढ़ लिया हूँ. आप हमारे ट्वीट्स भी देखोगे तो आई थिंक दिस बुक हम लोग एवरी डे मंडे टू फ्राइडे वी ट्वीट फ्रॉम अ बुक. सो उसमें आई सपोज आई हैव नॉट काउंटेड, इस बुक से सबसे ज्यादा मैंने शेयर किया होगा. So that is one book which I think is a Bible for anyone who is not even, I would rate it even higher than Berkshire Hathaway letters, because Berkshire Hathaway में you will see the whole journey of Warren Buffett. उनके स्टाइल कितनी चेंज होती जा रही है over the period, and the issue of size and all later on in his career. But in case of Philip Fisher book, the interesting thing which you will note there is that he never talks about valuation. He just talks about great businesses, how to buy them, when to sell them. He never talks about valuation. So that is why if you want to ask me one idol, I will probably select Philip Fisher. But there are many idols. We don't try to copy anyone completely. But we are heavily, we at Smart Sync Services are heavily influenced by uh, the work which Philip Fisher did.
Right, Ankit. So, Ankit, when it comes to meeting the management, so you believe in scuttlebutt, right? So, how you approach the management? Because there are times when management is not approachable, and how you go about it?
So, प्रिंस अभी तक तो हमारे को बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्टी कहीं नहीं हुई. वी हैव नॉट इन्वेस्टेड इन माइक्रो कैप स्पेस. मिड स्मॉल में आजकल सारे मैनेजमेंट अवेलेबल होते हैं. आई डू गेट दिस क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम मेनी ऑफ माई फेलो इन्वेस्टर्स. जो बोलते हैं कि नहीं यार ये मैनेजमेंट कुछ नहीं कर रहा. मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, आप ट्राई नहीं कर रहे हो, आपके अंदर पेशेंस नहीं है, और आप रिगरस नहीं हो. Very rarely you will find today a small cap or mid cap company management. कोई भी मतलब मैनेजमेंट नहीं तो कम से कम उनके आईआर टीम से कोई ना कोई तो रिस्पॉन्ड करता है. हाँ, समटाइम्स इट विल टेक टाइम, इट विल टेक मंथ्स टू गेट होल्ड ऑफ द राइट गाय टू आस्क सम क्वेश्चन. But I believe they are very, very, very much approachable today compared to what it was the scene, say, 3 to 4 years or 5 years back. So I completely don't buy that argument कि नहीं management नहीं मिलते. Micro cap companies I don't know. I'm talking about small and mid cap. Majority of them. अब कोई एक आध आप समझ लो exceptional केस होता है. But I'll talk about the majority rule. Everyone is generally approachable. In fact, अब तो बहुत सारे small cap और mid cap companies con calls भी करते हैं. There are very tiny companies coming out with con calls nowadays. So it is all that you have to do the hard work rather than blaming on the management that they are not available. So
Also, some
I can narrate one incident. So I looked at BKT in 2012-13. At that point of time, BKT never had con calls. I wrote to the company secretary and I asked for the annual reports of 2004, 5, and 5, 6. They emailed me the annual reports in 2012-13. बाद में अभी बीएससी में तो आपको 20 years का भी एनुअल रिपोर्ट्स मिल जाएगा. प्रॉब्लम आज के दिन प्रॉब्लम यही है कि किसी को मेहनत करनी नहीं है और खाली ब्लेम करना है कि ये अवेलेबल नहीं है. सब कुछ अवेलेबल है आज के दिन.
right, Ankit. So know few things, know them well. तो इसके ऊपर थोड़ा बात करेंगे और अंकित थोड़ी देर हिंदी में if possible because one of our attendees is asking continuously कि वो गांव से है तो थोड़ा उसको इंग्लिश समझने में इशू है तो थोड़ा हिंदी में भी हो जाएगा तो
मैं हिंदी में ही बोलने की कोशिश करूंगा. अगर गलती से हिंदी से इंग्लिश में चला जाओ तो आप मुझे टोक देना वहीं पे. सो व्हाट वाज योर क्वेश्चन? मैं भूल गया एकदम. क्या क्वेश्चन था आपका?
अंकित मैं भी भूल गया. मनीष मनीष बताएंगे क्वेश्चन क्या था. मनीष भी ड्रॉप हो गए. हाँ जैसे मैनेजमेंट से आप मिलते हैं तो कुछ ऐसा मैनेजमेंट का बिहेवियर
नहीं यू
आइडेंटिफाई.
आस्क्ड अबाउट आपने बोला था नो फ्यू थिंग्स नो देम वेल के बारे में शायद,
हाँ
राइट?
राइट 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 राइट.
So, no few things know them well is again we learned that through our own journey at Smart Sync Services, and both Akhilesh and myself, we being in investing field for last 10-12 years, उसमें जो mistakes किए उसी से निकल के आया. खास करके कोविड के टाइम पे कोविड वाज अ बिग इवेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस एज इन्वेस्टर्स. सो ऐसे टाइम पे यही होता है कि यू रियलाइज कि आपको जिस कंपनी के बारे में जिस बिजनेस के बारे में नॉलेज है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग अच्छी है, आप कोविड के टाइम जैसे मौके पे भी आप उससे से निकलते नहीं. आप उसी कंपनी में से निकलते हो या बेचते हो जिसको आप समझ नहीं पा रहे हो या जहां उसका आपको डाउट है. क्योंकि प्राइस ऐसे टाइम पे ना ऑलमोस्ट सब कंपनीज के गिरते हैं. कोई एक आध कंपनी ही होते हैं जिनके प्राइस नहीं गिरते. बाकी अगर आप अपने पोर्टफोलियो चेक करते हो, आई एम श्योर हम लोग सबको जितने भी यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है, जिन लोगों ने भी कोविड में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे थे कोविड के पहले से, हम सबका पोर्टफोलियो डाउन हुआ था. प्रॉब्लम है कि आप उस डाउन पोर्टफोलियो के टाइम पे आप रिएक्ट कैसे करते हो. तो हमको वो इनसाइट स्मार्ट सिंक सर्विसेज का जब हम लोग अपना पोर्टफोलियो अपने क्लाइंट्स का पोर्टफोलियो इवेलुएट करे तो हमने यही देखा कि अल्टीमेटली हम लोग वही एक दो स्टॉक्स को बेचने की बात कर रहे हैं जिसके बारे में हमारी नॉलेज या बिजनेस या मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर पकड़ कम है. सो अगर आपकी पकड़ सही होगी तो जो जो समटाइम्स जिस बोलते हैं ना वंस इन अ डेकेड वाला क्रैश जब आएगा, इट विल इवन दैट विल नॉट स्टॉप यू फ्रॉम होल्डिंग ऑन टू दोज बिजनेसेस, राइट? सो सो ये ही एक मतलब ये अभी रिसेंटली कोविड के बाद ही हमने ये अपने एक मेंटल चेकलिस्ट बनाया था कि अब जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था ना कि फार्मा में बहुत ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है, ठीक है, धीरे धीरे हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट नहीं है तो नहीं है, जो है उसके ऊपर और डीप में नॉलेज करना है. और इससे एक और बात इंपॉर्टेंट है, मेरे एक फ्रेंड ने अभी रिसेंटली मुझसे पूछा था अ, कि होल्डिंग ऑन टू अ बिजनेस लाइक बीकेटी और एमएचआई फॉर लास्ट 9 years, व्हाट एक्स्ट्रा एज डू यू थिंक यू हैव. सॉरी मैं आगे इंग्लिश में चला गया. आपके पास एक्स्ट्रा क्या एज है कंपेयर टू बाकी सारे इन्वेस्टर्स जो मार्केट में है और वो ट्रैक कर रहे हैं उस कंपनी को. तो या क्या आपको एक्स्ट्रा मालूम है उनके. तो मेरा आंसर उनको यही था, मेरे दोस्त को, कि मेरे को एक्स्ट्रा कुछ नहीं मालूम है. मैं भी वही सब चीज जानता हूँ जो बाकी सब जानते हैं. बट प्रोबेबली मैं कुछ बिजनेसेस में मुझे मालूम है कि कौन से 3-4 लीवर्स है जिसको मेरे को ट्रैक करना है. बाकी और कोई चीज भी आप जो देख रहे हो वो नॉइज है. सो होल्डिंग ऑन फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म या नोइंग फ्यू थिंग्स वेल हेल्प्स यू डू दैट. आप जब डीप में जाते हो कंपनी के बिजनेस में, एंड ये एक और मेरा मानना है कि ये 1 साल में, 6 महीने में, 3 महीने में नहीं हो सकता। ये ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आता है। आप आप जब तक 3, 4, 5 साल तक वो कंपनी को ट्रैक नहीं कर रहे हो, मैनेजमेंट को बार बार कॉन कॉल में नहीं सुन रहे हो, अपने आप को वापस से रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो बाहर जाके, पीछे जाके, तब तक आप श्योर नहीं हो पाओगे और इस तरह का इंसाइट नहीं आएगा। तो आपका इंसाइट जो अगर बोलते हैं ना कि नो फ्यू थिंग्स या नो देम वेल से क्या आता है, इंसाइट यही आता है कि बिजनेस ए में ये 4, 5 चीज है जिसको मेरे को हर समय ट्रैक करनी है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट और कुछ नहीं। जो भी, अगेन मैं एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल देता हूँ। इट्स अ पोर्टफोलियो स्टॉक, अगेन डोंट टेक इट एज अ रिकमेंडेशन। अब 2020 का सितंबर में हमने एक ब्लॉग पोस्ट लिखा था वीआईपी इंडस्ट्रीज के ऊपर में। अगर आप लोग में से किसी को भी याद हो, 2000 FY21 का Q1 का रिजल्ट was the worst quarter for a company like VIP for a long period of time. And in that particular quarter, अगर किसी ने भी वो क्वार्टर, वो कॉन कॉल अटेंड किया होगा अभी, अगर आज के में है, हमारे स्पेस में है वो, तो उस कॉल में दिलीप पिरामल, who is the MD of the company, who was the MD actually, right now he's not the MD I guess. So उन्होंने फ्रस्ट्रेशन में आके ऐसा बोल दिया था रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को कि अरे आप एजीएम जैसे सवाल क्यों पूछते हो, ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना चाहिए। और अगर आप उस टाइम के ट्विटर टाइमलाइन जाके देखोगे, सारे इन्वेस्टर लोगों ने मजाक उड़ाया था और बोले थे कि वीआईपी इज एन अवॉइड नाउ। ठीक है, दैट वाज अ नॉइज। एज अ एज एन इन्वेस्टर ऑफ बिजनेस, एज एन इन्वेस्टर हु इज लुकिंग फॉर इन्वेस्टिंग इन द लॉन्ग टर्म, आपको वो समझना पड़ेगा कि इट इज नॉइज। बट वो इतना ज्यादा हाईलाइट हुआ था वो पार्ट पूरे सोशल मीडिया में कि एक न्यू कमर इन्वेस्टर वो देख के सबसे पहले तो अवॉइड कर देगा वीआईपी जैसे स्टॉक को। बट प्रोबेबली दैट वाज द बेस्ट टाइम टू एक्चुअली लुक एट दैट बिजनेस। क्यों? आई गिव यू 3, 4 मेन रीजन। इट वाज वीआईपी की बैलेंस शीट एकदम स्ट्रॉन्ग बैलेंस शीट है। नॉट जस्ट वीआईपी, यू लुक एट सफारी ऑल्सो, सफारी के साथ में भी वही है, सेम उनके इसमें। आई सी मीत भाई ऑन द कॉल, ही इज अ इन्वेस्टर इन सफारी फॉर लॉन्ग, आई नो दैट। सो आई आई प्रोबेबली बिलीव कि वो अग्री करेंगे मैं जो बोलूंगा उससे। बैलेंस शीट स्ट्रांग है। अगेन जो लॉन्ग टर्म टेलविंड है, या अगर आप जिसको बोलते हैं इफ दे आर बेनिफिशियरी ऑफ मेजर मेगा ट्रेंड्स इन द कंट्री, व्हाट आर द मेजर मेगा ट्रेंड्स? अर्बनाइजेशन। कुछ भी आप बोल लो, अर्बनाइजेशन इज अ बिग मेगा ट्रेंड। छोटे जगह से लोग बाहर निकल के बड़े जगह आएंगे अपॉर्चुनिटी खोजने के लिए। मोर women in the workforce, that is a mega trend. ठीक है, मोर पीपल इन द आईटी फील्ड, दैट इज अ मेगा ट्रेंड। ऐसे करके मैं आपको 7, 8 मेगा ट्रेंड बता सकता हूँ जिसका एडवांटेज लगेज कंपनी मार्केट लीडर है, जहाँ पे ऑर्गेनाइज मार्केट बहुत छोटा है अभी भी कंपेयर टू अनऑर्गेनाइज। अनऑर्गेनाइज टू ऑर्गेनाइज इज अगेन अ मेगा ट्रेंड, राइट? That company was available at a decadal low valuation in terms of देयर नॉर्मलाइज्ड अर्निंग। आप उस टाइम की अर्निंग देखोगे तो उस टाइम की तो अर्निंग गिरी हुई थी, क्योंकि मार्केट ही बंद था, सब कुछ मार्केट इन द सेंस कोविड हो रखा था, लॉकडाउन था, तो कुछ भी सेल नहीं हो रहा था। बट इफ यू कंपेयर देयर वैल्यूएशन फ्रॉम देयर नॉर्मलाइज्ड अर्निंग, इट वाज एट अ डेकेडल लो वैल्यूएशन, एंड it was a no brainer if you consider that कि what was going on in the social media was a noise. So I hope थोड़ा मैंने टाइम लिया, लेकिन I have explained you what do we mean by know few things and know them well.
Yeah, Ankit, very brief, rightly explained. So I see 7, 8 requests, but I doubt there is some issue. I couldn't see anything to accept. So guys, you can do one thing. You can try sending again. Or Ankit, I am done with almost all the questions. So if in next 5 minutes we get any request, we'll take those questions. Otherwise, I would request you for concluding remarks for the day. And it was great session with you. And also, I would also sometime maybe like to interact with the Smart Sync community as well. And so, yeah, over to you, Ankit.
Sure, friends. Uh, First of all, thank you so much again for inviting me. I see Akhilesh and Meet on the call. I would be happy if you can take them, as in उनको unmute कर दो और कुछ उनका भी views ले ले अपने.
Yeah, Meet, I see. I have sent him the request, but who Anirudh,
Akhilesh, Akhilesh, Akhilesh
Akhilesh,
Pathak.
let me see. And in the meantime, yeah, we have Meet with us. Yeah, Meet, over to you.
Uh, Thanks, Prince Bhai. It was a very good session, Ankit Bhai. So, Ucho, if you guys have any questions, then I'm open to answer your queries.
Meet bhai, I was expecting to hear from you about Safari and your general view on the industry.
Okay, so I'm holding Safari since last 9 or 10 years. So and actually, basically, it was not my idea. It was my uncle's idea. But allocation wise, I bought Safari because I believe Sudhir Jatia will do some wonders in this company. So basically, the idea was very simple. Intelligent fanatic from market leading company VIP has invested his life's 80 to 90% net worth in one single company. Same field of acquisition. Very small, very small in market cap, very small in market share as well, but a very reputed brand, Safari. So he totally rebuilt the brand. Uh, when Sudhir Jatia bought the Safari at that time, the Safari's market share uh, was around 1% or 1.5%. Currently, its market share is more than overall industry, 7 to 9%. Okay, so if you see the jump from 1% to 7%, it's almost 7x jump, right? And the shares has compounded, I guess, at the rate of it's been like 30 40x. So it's a classic mix of intelligent fanatic, good business, good brand in a bad cycle, with a bad management previously with a bad management, and a good management with the industry leading expertise came and acquired the company, and at the age of around 40 years, and had invested his life's net worth in that company. 15 20 years of experience, 15 20 years of runway, 40-year guy. So not very aggressive, not very conservative. It's very mature mix of business. It's like very few times you get such special situation investing in your career. So at that time when we bought the company, there were rumors that the company will, won't be able to perform because the bad debts were high, the company was low on cash, and many wrong things were going in the company. But this guy, if you meet this guy, whenever you have time, if you visit the company, the plant, or meet this guy, he is such a phenomenal guy. I mean, no doubts. Obviously, I didn't initially, bought the majority of my stake, but I average up, and average up. Recently, in 2019 fall also, the shares were down to 350 levels, and I averaged the shares when at around 375 or 400 levels. Disclosure: I'm holding stock, but I still feel the company has a long runway in this decade, long runway. So I think, yeah, that's my general understanding, because in this kind of patterns, yeah, I mean, when you bet on such business, you don't care about what happened in the past, in company's past, but you do care about what happened in, what is the history of promoter. मतलब सफारी का क्या history, I don't care. ठीक है, पास्ट हिस्ट्री, बट आई डू केयर अबाउट सुधीर जाटियाज हिस्ट्री, एंड आई डू केयर अबाउट बोथ फ्यूचर. तो सुधीर जाटिया का हिस्ट्री बहुत अच्छा था इन वीआईपी, इंडस्ट्री लीडिंग बिजनेस, एंड ही हैज शोन हिज मार्केट लीडरशिप skills at the time. So I was very confident that he will do good in this kind of business. So slowly, steadily, uh, things improved. We averaged up, and luckily we it's like spot them early, catch them young, and hold them long. It's that kind of bet for us. Uh, yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Meet bhai.
Thank you, Ankit bhai.
So, Ankit, I just remember the quote from Atul Raval sir, 1 plus 1 makes 11. So, today we have Ankit and Meet with us. So, guys, utilize the opportunity and you guys can throw in your questions to get them answered. Yeah, Sunil, you can unmute and ask your question from the speakers.
Hi, you can hear me?
Yeah, yeah, very well.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to know the views about the EV sector and the future prospects. If you can give us guidance for the retail to have good stocks for long term. Thank you.
Hi, Sunil ji. Thank you for the question. I would refrain from giving any stock recommendation. Uh, However, I can give you a brief about how we look at EV sector in our investing universe. So we generally try to look at disruption in a very careful manner. So we don't bet on a disruption where we don't know how things will pan out in the next 2 3 years. So it is easy to avoid companies which will probably face the heat of disruption rather than betting on companies uh, which will get benefited from disruption because डिस्ट्रप्शन किस फॉर्म में आएगा आज के दिन बोलना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है सो there are a few businesses in the in the auto and auto ancillary space where you know that EV आए या कभी भी आए या कितने भी स्पीड से आए या कितने भी स्लो आए इनका बिजनेस ठीक चलेगा so we are focusing on those businesses. I'll refrain from taking any names now because हमने already 4 5 names ले लिए मैं पूरा portfolio नहीं बताना चाहता हूँ but those are the companies we are more bullish on जहाँ पे we don't have to worry about कि कब ईवी आएगा कब ईवी एक बहुत बड़ा स्केल होगा so एक चीज तो क्लियर है कि ईवी एडॉप्शन हो रहा है और ईवी एडॉप्शन का स्पीड अगर आप मंथली ईवी सेल्स का वॉल्यूम ट्रैक करो तो वो मंथ ऑन मंथ इंक्रीज ही हो रहा है राइट सो it will definitely create a problem for those guys who are not present in the EV space and because of new EV demand they will have issues but जो कंपनीज ऐसी है जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अ टायर कंपनी आपके ईवी हो चाहे ईवी नहीं हो टायर तो लगेंगे ही टायर का ईवी और नॉन ईवी से कोई लेना देना नहीं सो टायर का जो पूरा वैल्यू चेन है there are many companies in the whole you don't necessarily need to invest only in tire companies टायर कंपनी का पूरा जो वैल्यू चेन है आप उसको स्टडी कर सकते हो दैट इज वेरी 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 स्ट्रॉन्ग उसमें बहुत सारी कंपनीज आएगी जहां पे ईवी का डिस्ट्रप्शन से आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा बिकॉज ईवी के डिस्ट्रप्शन से दो प्रॉब्लम है पहला तो जब ईवी आएगा तो जो नॉन ईवी जो कंपनीज प्रीडोमिनेटली नॉन ईवीज रहती है उनको प्रॉब्लम होगा दूसरा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि अगर ईवी का आने का एडॉप्शन जो हम लोग आज प्रेडिक्ट कर रहे हैं वो थोड़ा डिले हो गया मतलब हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि 2 3 साल के अंदर में बहुत सारे ईवीज हो जाएंगे बट वो या क्रिटिकल लेवल 2 3 साल में आ जाएगा वो 2 3 साल की जगह अगर मान लीजिए 5 6 साल में आता है देन योर बेट गोज रॉन्ग सो वी आर प्लेइंग दिस इन अ वेरी सेफ वे वी आर प्लेइंग और वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन दोज बिजनेसेस जहाँ पे अपने को ये लगता है कि ईवी आ जाए 2 साल बाद आए चाहे 5 साल बाद आए या कल आ जाए ये कंपनी का जो बिजनेस का स्ट्रेंथ है कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज है ये कहीं नहीं जाना सो दैट इज हाउ वी आर लुकिंग एट दिस सेक्टर आई
So,
होप आई
Ankit,
कुड आंसर योर क्वेश्चन
yeah, yeah. So,
Perfect,
Yeah,
Ankit,
Ankit, bhai,
yeah.
perfect.
so Ankit, if I understood correctly, when
Thank
you
you.
do chain of ancillary, so the concept of ancillary ka ancillary you are talking about, right?
yeah so again we should credit the original patent holder and we should not take the credit
Yeah,
this
exactly.
term ancillary ka ancillary was coined originally by Atul Rawal ji, who was there on our Mission Smile Investing Karwa episode 5 last Saturday only. So उनका सिंपल कंसेप्ट यही है कि अगर आपको एग्री बिजनेस में आपको लग रहा है कि एग्री विल डू वेल एज अ सेक्टर और एज अ थीम सो फर्स्ट लेवल थिंकर ये सोचता है कि चलो ट्रैक्टर की कंपनी को खरीद लेते हैं गो फॉर एक्सपोर्ट्स ठीक है तो वो बोलते हैं कि नहीं सेकंड लेवल थिंकर सोचेगा चलो एक्सपोर्ट्स की एंसिलरी क्यों खोजते हैं एक्सपोर्ट्स अगर अच्छा चलेगा तो उसके टायर्स भी अच्छे चलेंगे ना तो लेट्स गो फॉर बीकेटी क्योंकि बीकेटी मेक्स टायर फॉर ट्रैक्टर्स एंड अदर थिंग्स राइट सो वो बोलते हैं लेकिन ये भी सेकंड लेवल भी एक चीज भूल जाता है कि एंसिलरी का भी एंसिलरी होता है। अगर टायर अच्छा चलेगा बिकॉज ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर का थीम अच्छा चलेगा उसके लिए, तो टायर बनाने वाले को भी बहुत सारी रॉ मटेरियल्स चाहिए रहते हैं। लाइक यू वुड हैव known about Raj Ratan, which has done exceed. Again, a disclaimer: we don't hold the stock. It's just that that's a good ancillary का ancillary के थीम में वो राज रतन बहुत अच्छा फिट होता है। So it makes Raj Ratan wire makes wires for tire companies, right? So अगर आप लास्ट 3-4 साल का देखोगे तो एस्कॉर्ट से ज्यादा बीकेटी से ज्यादा राज रतन ने अच्छा किया। सो दिस इज जस्ट एन एग्जांपल आई एम शेयरिंग कि आप अगर एंसिलरी सब कोई सबसे पहले सब कोई इजीली जैसे ईवी अगर सोच रहे हैं तो ईवी में सबसे पहले लोग सोचेंगे कि अच्छा कौन कौन सी कंपनी ईवी बना रही है। सेकंड लेवल में लोग ये सोचेंगे कि चलो ये ईवी कंपनी में कौन कौन से सप्लायर कौन कौन सी कंपनी ऐसी है जो इनकी वेंडर्स है। बट जो इनके वेंडर्स है उनके भी कोई वेंडर्स होंगे जिसको बहुत कम लोग देख रहे होंगे आज के दिन। तो अगर आपको ईवी में इफ यू आर बुलिश, कमिंग बैक टू सुनील जी क्वेश्चन कि अगर आपको ईवी में यू आर बेटिंग ऑन ईवी, डोंट लुक एट द फ्रंटलाइन कंपनीज, लुक एट द ancillary एंड यू हैव अ हायर odds of making more money there, provided that your bet on EV goes right. I don't know about whether EV will come to that critical level next year or in the next 5 years. बट अगर आपका कंडीशन सही है और आपको लगता है कि ईवी आएगा, सो इट इज बेटर टू लुक फॉर एंसिलरी का एंसिलरी rather than the OEMs.
पिक एंड शवल प्ले अंकित भाई।
Exactly,
So
exactly.
Meet by,
Wonderful.
although it has been very brilliantly explained by Ankit, but any other input on EV you have from your side? Same question from Sunil to you.
यस परफेक्ट अंकित भाई ने जो बोला वो बहुत परफेक्ट है। मतलब सी ईवी कब तक आएगा कितना आएगा नोबडी नोस। तो फर्स्ट लेवल थिंकिंग गोज टू कि ईवी मेकर्स कौन है, ठीक है। सेकंड लेवल सप्लायर्स, और थर्ड आता है कि उनके सप्लायर्स, लाइक उन्होंने बोला एंसिलरी का एंसिलरी। सो अब देखो ईवी कितना आएगा वी डोंट नो, कौन सी कंपनी का आएगा वी डोंट नो, बट सब में बैटरीज लगनी है, सब में टायर्स लगना है, टायर्स है तो टायर्स के केमिकल्स भी लगेंगे, ठीक है। सो राजरतन आप देखो, ओसीसीएल देखो, सिंपल कंपनी लाइक शिवालिक बाई मेटल जो एक शंट बनाती है, ठीक है, तो बैटरीज में लगता है। सो इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल प्ले कि भाई प्रॉक्सी का प्रॉक्सी पकड़ लो। लाइक इफ आई एक्सप्लेन इन ब्रीफ, तो पास्ट में इन कैलिफोर्निया देयर वाज अ गोल्ड रश, ठीक है। तो जो भी लोग माइनिंग करते थे उनको गोल्ड मिलता था, तो सारे लोग पहुंच गए गोल्ड माइनिंग के लिए। तो गोल्ड माइनिंग में लोगों ने पैसा नहीं कमाया, किसने पैसा कमाया? जो लोग गोल्ड माइनिंग करने आते थे ना, ये लोग उनको उसका इक्विपमेंट बेचते थे, उसको पिक एंड शवल बोलते हैं, अब हिंदी में पता नहीं उसको क्या बोलते हैं, बट वो उनको बेच के कंपनी मतलब पैसा बना लिया। आजू बाजू में सारी बेकरी चालू हो गई, फूड बेच बेच के पैसा बना लिया। तो माइनिंग से पैसा नहीं बना, लेकिन उसके प्रॉक्सी प्लेस से बन गया, राइट, यू गेटिंग। वहां एक जीन्स कंपनी का इनकॉर्पोरेशन हुआ, उसका नाम है लीवाइस। क्यों? क्योंकि उनको मजबूत कपड़ा चाहिए था कि माइनिंग के वक्त वो कपड़ा फटे ना। तो भाई लिवाइस ने बहुत पैसा बनाया, लेकिन गोल्ड माइनिंग में कितनों ने पैसा बनाया? सो सेम लाइक ईवी इज गोल्ड माइनिंग, लेकिन आप लिवाइस पकड़ लो या पीछे के कोई भी प्लेयर पकड़ लो, दे आर एंसिलरी का एंसिलरी। सो गो फॉर देम। अगर ईवी आए ईवी ना आए, भाई टायर तो ऐसे भी यूज होना ही है। ईवी आएगा तो और अच्छा है ना, ईवी से बैटरी का वेट ज्यादा आता है, गाड़ी का वेट 30 से 40% बढ़ जाएगा। 30 से 40% बैटरी का, अरे गाड़ी का वेट बढ़ेगा तो टायर की वेर एंड टेयर फास्ट होगी। 4 साल जो टायर चल रहा है वो 3 साल चलेगा, 3 साल चलेगा तो वेर एंड टेयर फास्ट होगा, तो रिप्लेसमेंट साइकिल बढ़ जाएगी। तो आपका ऐसे भी तो कंजम्पशन ज्यादा ही होने वाला है। तो गो फॉर बीड वायर कंपनीज, इनसॉल्युबल सल्फर कंपनीज, शंट रेजिस्टर्स कंपनीज, उसको स्टडी करो। तो दीज आर वेरी सेफ बेट्स इफ यू वांट टू प्ले ईवी। डिस्क्लेमर, आई एम होल्डिंग few of the companies and these are only for illustration purpose.
Yeah, right, Meet भाई. So अंकित, एक कमेंट्स में शुभम ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि एफएमसीजी सेक्टर पे आपका क्या व्यू है, तो इस पे आप दोनों का व्यू जानना चाहेंगे।
सो एज अ ब्रॉड सेक्टर व्यू बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है कभी कभी। जैसे एफएमसीजी एज अ सेक्टर में अगर आप फ्रंटलाइन कंपनीज में जाओगे तो उनका वैल्यूएशन बहुत ज्यादा ओवर ओवर द टॉप है। अगर आप नेस्ले एंड ऑल वो सब देखो, नेस्ले एचयूएल एंड ऑल, ठीक है। Even though I still believe that if you can have a say 10 year, 15 year, 20 year view, you can still hold on to them and get at least 12 to 15% annualized return. That is, I would not be surprised if they provide that. However, they might go through a very big time correction over the next, say, 4 or 5 years to 6 years. But there are a few other FMCG companies. I don't want to take particular names, but FMCG space is a very, very, very strong space. Space in terms of is a very good hunting ground for look at to look at uh, secular opportunities in the market. We do have one stock. I'll not name it, where we believe there was a management change in 2019. बहुत अच्छी फ्रेंचाइज थी लेकिन पहले मिसमैनेजमेंट बहुत ज्यादा था, कैपिटल मिसएलोकेशन बहुत ज्यादा था. Things have changed since 2019 and they are doing pretty well. And there are other companies also. You can also look at, say, something like the QSR space, which is not exactly in FMCG, but it has a lot of FMCG characteristics. So that is also a good space. But why आप when you look at something like the QSR space, वहाँ पे problem यही है कि because the because the growth expectations are so high, the valuation also is nowhere giving you any comfort right now as a value investor. If you are a value investor, so I don't think I am a value investor. We are long-term investors, but we are not value investors because value investors generally pay a lot of attention to the valuation at which they buy. So that is one area where we believe growth is very high, but because of high valuation, probably you should have a longer term horizon while you are buying into those stocks. एक और तरीका है एफएमसीजी प्ले करने का, वापस अगेन जो हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि यू कैन लुक एट कंपनीज व्हिच सप्लाई टू एफएमसीजी मैन्युफैक्चरर्स. So that is also one way to look at FMCG. But FMCG, in nutshell, FMCG is a very good hunting ground if you are a long-term investor with a horizon of 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, Meet, same question to you.
Almost same point of view like Ankit bhai. Uh, there are a few great brands in this country which are doing very good in the FMCG play, but still valuation could be anybody's guess. It's very subjective. But I think companies like Nestle and even Titan, it's a consumption theme. It's an aspirational brand. Even after uh, quoting at around 2 lakh, around 2 lakh market cap, the company is having only 6 to 7% market share in the entire jewelry segment, right? So it's still a very small cap in terms of global market. So I think these companies are very, very unique company, uniquely placed and having right management, right business, and still have has a lot of room to grow from here as well. But it's yeah, whether they are good business for 2 to 3 years, I don't know. Whether they are good business for 10 years, I think so. But it's all about valuation, and I could be wrong here, but it's a very subjective thing. But yeah, as a theme, FMCG, रोटी कपड़ा मकान दवा दारू डेटा, भाई सब चलने वाला है. आंख बंद करके इसके ऊपर स्टडी करो. अच्छा कंपनी मिलेगा, ब्रांड मिलेगा, तो भाई ले लो. बहुत सिंपल है.
राइट मीत भाई. सो अंकित भाई, अगर हम इसको बोलें कि जैसा जो फॉर्मलाइजेशन ऑफ इकोनॉमी है या फिर अनऑर्गेनाइज से जो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड है, ये भी अपने आप में एक मेगा ट्रेंड है.
Yeah, so mega trend के ऊपर I think there is a book on mega trends. I don't remember the exact name of the book and the author.
Mastering
But
mega trend, John Nesbitt.
हाँ, right. मीत भाई ने सही बोला. प्लस अगर आपको एक सिंपल तरीके से मेगा ट्रेंड समझना है तो मिस्टर उत्पल सेठ ने 2018 या 19 में सीएफए सोसाइटी में बहुत अच्छा वेबिनार किया था, and it is available for free on YouTube. Go and watch that video. He listed out 6 to 7 mega trends. Those mega trends are still valid even today, 5 years later. In fact, I would say that they have become more and more stronger in these 5 years. So anyone can go and watch that video. That will give you a very good understanding. And again, that reminds me another fact which I learned from Mr. Utpal said there is that if you are actually betting on a mega trend, you will not sell a stock when it is valuation is high. You will sell the stock when the mega trend is no more there.
Yeah, Ankit, I totally agree with you. That video I have seen twice, and I have also pinned it over our spaces so that those who are not aware of it, they can see it. Utpal Seth from Rare Enterprises. So that is a very very good podcast which everybody should listen to. So we also got Ravi with us. Ravi, hi. We have Ankit and Meet with us. So any questions or anything you want to add for the session?
No, yeah, I to just joined, so I'll be on the listen only mode. Hi Ankit, yeah. How are you? Bangalore
Hi,
treating you
Ravi.
well? Bangalore treating you well?
Ye- Yes, yes, and I just want to say one thing. Ravi and me, we were batchmate at exam in 2007-9. So
Yeah.
we have been friends since last 13 years. And I'm a big admirer of Ravi's way of looking at investing and stock market.
It's only when we come on Twitter space, na, we call ourselves Ravi and Ankit. Otherwise, in campus you have different names. So yeah,
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 so
we
please carry
all
on.
have different. So Ankit, attendee Sam Vardhaman, he is saying Ankit Bhaiya always try to give time to smallest small investor and explain in a very simple manner. And every day doing lots of stuff, reading, networking. So how you able to manage time? That's a very good question. How you manage time, Ankit?
सर
thank
इसका
you so
जवाब
much,
मैं
sir.
देता हूँ। अंकित भाई मैं जवाब देता हूँ। अंकित भाई ओनली स्लीप्स फॉर 6 hours a day. He works 18 hours in a day. 17 to 18 hours ये बंदा काम करता है. So just imagine the dedication he is giving to his work and उनका पूरा और ये आज से नहीं, ये मतलब पिछले बहुत सालों से अंकित भाई ये कर रहे हैं. So his dedication is unparalleled. I have seen very very few people जो इतना जो एक अचीवमेंट मतलब अच्छे लेवल पे पहुंचने के बाद भी दे आर वेरी मतलब वो इतना डेडिकेशन देते हैं अपने वर्क को. मतलब 17-18 hours a day, इट्स नॉट अ जोक. मतलब वो इट्स अ वेरी बिग थिंग ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस. It's a brilliant. I think Ankit bhai does some brilliant work.
Thank you so much, Meet bhai. You are partially right. 6 घंटे सोता हूँ वो तो सही, लेकिन 18 घंटे काम नहीं करता हूँ. नहीं तो बीवी घर से निकाल देगी अगर 18 घंटे काम करेंगे तो. लेकिन
सही है सही है.
Acha, let me come in. Ankit used to have habit of sleeping even with his eyes open in classes. He
अरे
could have
ये सब
slept.
ये सब पोल मत खोलो, क्लास की बात अभी बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. So coming back to what Samed mentioned. So first of all, thank you so much, Samed, for such a good thing which you have shared. And I know you personally. We have been interacting over a long period of time, so it's good to hear from you in that way. But having said that, I don't think it's a misnomer that you have to really work very hard. आई डोंट वर्क रियली वेरी हार्ड. मेरा एक फिक्स टाइम शेड्यूल है. उसी समय में काम करता हूँ. आई आई स्पेंड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम विथ माय फैमिली. आई हैव अ 8 year old kid, 8 year young kid rather, and I spend some time with him also. So it's just that I try my best to give as much as possible to investing and all my work related to smart sync services. And what is more important is doing it consistently. So I agree with Meet Bhai on one aspect that consistency is more important than intensity. So आप अगर 2 घंटे भी काम करते तो right now I don't read more than so in terms of reading books, I've been reading books since 2007-8. So most of my tweets which come on a daily basis on uh, मैं ऐसा नहीं है कि उसी दिन पढ़ के लिखा हूँ. वो मेरा पहले से पढ़ा हुआ है. मैं खाली बस रैंडमली कोई भी पोर्शन को निकाल के दे रहा हूँ. ऑन अ डेली बेसिस आई ओनली रीड हाफ एन आवर इन टर्म्स ऑफ बुक्स. बाकी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम it is either operations of SmartSync services or investing related research. Apart from that, I don't spend too much time on reading books. So that is how I would like to say about how I manage time and all. सबके पास उतना ही टाइम है. और मैं हमेशा यही लगता है मुझे रात को जब सोता हूँ तो आज काम कम किया या आज फैमिली को टाइम कम दिया, तो वो दुख लेके सोता हूँ रोज रात को. या तो फैमिली को टाइम कम दिया या काम को कम टाइम कम दिया. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आई एम अ परफेक्ट पर्सन. आई एम स्टिल लर्निंग एंड ट्राइंग टू गेट बेटर.
Yeah, that's so humble of you, Ankit. And seriously, market का passion है ही ऐसी चीज that it keeps you on your toes and you are more and more into market. आपका मतलब even if you talk about me, you see I have been very active since last 6 months. तो जो लर्निंग का इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट हो रहा है, दैट इज हेल्पिंग बिग टाइम. So yeah, I agree on that. So let me do some non-commercial marketing, guys. If you are liking our work, do follow our handle so that that gives the necessary motivation. Motivation in the sense, when you people join us, we get to know more knowledgeable people, and as rightly said by Atul sir and Ankit and others, that investing is all about networking, and we get to know many hidden gems within our Twitter community. So guys, do connect with our handles, and if you are liking our work, do share your feedback, positive, negative. We are open to it. The idea is to learn, and yeah, so we have two more speakers with us. And one more thing, Ankit, we have Meet Shah today, so we will book him for dedicated spaces sometime in future. So Meet bhai, you have an open invitation from my side. So as and when you are comfortable, I'll connect with you offline, and surely will try to get maximum out of you in the form of insights of your market experience.
Thank you, Bresh bhai.
So, Dr. Vimal, you can ask your question, and then we go to Sanjay.
सर मेरा पहले गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी स्पीकर मीत भाई एंड अंकित भाई
गुड इवनिंग डॉक्टर साहब.
अंकित सर मेरा आपसे एक क्वेश्चन है. अभी अपने बात हुई थी थोड़े दिन पहले कि आप 8 साल से कंपनी में इन्वेस्टेड हो, तो मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता हूँ, आप भी मत नाम लो, ठीक है ना. तो मुझे ये जानना है कि इस तरह का कन्विक्शन रिटेल इन्वेस्टर कैसा पैदा करे. और दूसरा क्वेश्चन है, जब अभी एफएमसीजी का क्वेश्चन चल रहा था, तो मुझे अभी शॉर्ट टर्म अपॉर्चुनिटी पता नहीं कि जो पाम ऑयल के जो रेट्स है वो काफ़ी कम हुए हैं, ऑलमोस्ट 50% डाउन. तो मुझे लगता है कि इसको एफएमजी सेक्टर में बहुत ज़्यादा फायदा मिलेगा. इस पर आपका क्या व्यू है?
Thank you so much, Dr. Vimal. So first of all, I would highly recommend everyone to get in touch with Dr. Saab because I have been I got in touch with him last month only. But being a doctor, इतना पैशन इन्वेस्टिंग के लिए और इतना नॉलेज ऑन so many stocks is simply amazing. So you get to learn from so many people when you are in investing. That is one. पहला आपने रिटेल पब्लिक के लिए जो बोला, so I am also a retail investor. सबसे पहले I am not an HNI investor. I am also a retail investor. ठीक है. And so if and I know a lot of other retail investors who have been holding on to businesses for more than 7-8 years also. So it is all about your mindset. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि कभी कभी आप कोई दूसरी फील्ड में कुछ गलतियां ऐसे करते हो तो उसका फायदा आपको इन्वेस्टिंग में हो जाता है. सो आई हैव डन अ लॉट ऑफ मिस्टेक्स इन द पास्ट in other field before coming to investment where I lost my patience and I lost something very dear. So इसीलिए जब इन्वेस्टिंग में आया तो पेशेंस वाज समथिंग which came naturally to me. So I didn't have to work for it because पेशेंस लूज करके मैंने ऑलरेडी लाइफ में इतना कुछ खो दिया था. तो ये तो समझ में आ गया था कि पेशेंस तो रखना चाहिए. अगर आप मेरे मेरे पर्सनल ट्विटर हैंडल में जाओगे तो I have kept that wallpaper, I think, since many months, yeah, many years, I would say, which is a quote from the book Siddhartha Herman Hesse, which says like this: I can think, I can wait, I can fast. And I read that book in 2007 for the first time, and I think I've read that book more than 10 times till now. एंड आई थिंक लाइफ का मेन मकसद यही है कि अगर आप सोच सकते हो, अगर आप वेट कर सकते हो, और अगर आप फास्ट कर सकते हो इन द सेंस कि वेट कर सकते हो, जो वेट करने के टाइम पे जो लाइफ में स्ट्रगल होती है वो स्ट्रगल को बियर कर सकते हो, जनरली यू विल बी एबल टू गेट मोस्ट थिंग्स इन योर लाइफ. सब कुछ तो नहीं मिल सकता है, थोड़ा बहुत रहना भी चाहिए, तभी तो लाइफ जीने का मजा है. So that is related to your first question. Second is palm oil. I completely agree with you कि short term opportunity है, but again ये we are living in an inflationary world. और आप देखो यूएस में इन्फ्लेशन ऑलरेडी आ गया और यूएस चैंपियन है अपने इन्फ्लेशन को बाकी देशों में भेजने में. ठीक है, तो वो जो रेट हाइक कर रहा है उससे इन्फ्लेशन, आप अगर सोच रहे हो इंडिया में नहीं आएगा वो गलत है, इंडिया में भी आएगा. 100% आएगा. दैट इज व्हाट आई बिलीव. किस तेजी से आएगा, क्या क्वांटम से आएगा, आई हैव नो आइडिया. एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव नो पोजीशंस इन कमोडिटी स्टॉक्स इन जनरल. ठीक है, थोड़े बहुत कमोडिटी स्टॉक्स है हमारे पास हमारे लमसम पोर्टफोलियो में, बट हमारे एसआईपी पोर्टफोलियो हम लोग कोई कमोडिटी स्टॉक्स इसलिए नहीं रखते हैं. और वो भी जो कमोडिटी स्टॉक्स है, हमारे पास कोई मेटल स्टॉक्स नहीं है. वी हैव वन रियल एस्टेट एंड वन पीएस टू पीएसयू स्टॉक्स, दैट्स इट.
ओके.
So apart from that, I think the point is very taken. Palm oil से FMCG को benefit तो होता है अगर उसके प्राइस, but you are betting कि ये प्राइस डाउन रहेंगे और बढ़ेंगे नहीं. I am not very sure of that. I personally believe कि यही जिसको बोलते हैं ना, tailwind और headwind is always a much more powerful force than anything. So अभी का मेरे को एक बहुत बड़ा हेडविंड दिखता है कि इन्फ्लेशन तो आएगा.
ओके.
अब वो कितनी जल्दी से आएगा, कितनी देरी से आएगा और क्या स्पीड से आएगा, दैट आई डोंट हैव एनी कंट्रोल ऑन और एनी, आई कांट प्रेडिक्ट दैट थिंग,
यस.
बट आई कैन प्रिपेयर, राइट.
ओके. ओके सर, थैंक यू. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर.
Yeah, may I answer something on what he was saying about holding for a long
अरे
period of
प्लीज
time?
प्लीज 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 गो अहेड.
Ankit, actually, now this question is very relevant. Why it's say it's very well known that 90-95% of the financial literature or research work has been done mostly on how to find a good stock or the buy recommendation side. There is only 5-10%, not even 10%, 5% kind of thing which is done on the work towards when to exit or to sell, those kind of strategy, whether you want to have or not, that's a secondary question. But even if you want to have any kind of exit strategy, there is very limited literature written on the exit and the sell strategy. First thing is, if you found a good compounder at a decent price now, it automatically provides you a power to stay the course. Okay. Second thing is, I would recommend you go and listen to, there was one hour long interview of S Naren from ICICI Prudential. He was talking about, rather than sell any of your investment, whether what you can have is a switch kind of strategy. You are already invested in one counter, say something which has been working for you, but you come across any other stock or strategy which you think can be good enough to switch. So rather than selling anything, if you find something more attractive, consider the switch strategy. I would add one more line here, which will add more value, is when you are considering to switch also na, try to list down what are the positive sides of the company on or the sector where you are deciding to the switch, and the already existing investment where you are holding right now. Normally what happens now, and this happens more to people who are actually full-time research analysts, they will have that itch to find a better idea and switch, and that's the reason that the return would be suboptimal. So if you sit down and write your ideas now, then you will find out that then the new ideas is not that great enough than the one which is already working for you. So that way you can reduce that itch to trade in the market. So that thing you can follow. Second thing about palm oil price, I think I don't want to add anything except what Ankit mentioned. The prices have come down. It definitely adds value to few of the companies, Britannia and Pratap Snacks, those kind of companies. But you can't predict, yeah. It's so volatile. Any commodity you pick, it's been very volatile. So only enter if you want to stay there for a very long period of time, because commodity price which is moving down may move otherwise direction next month, but you need to have a very long horizon on those companies before entering.
So I also wanted to add one thing here, Dr. Vimal, आपके जो question था उस पे. So we have a family business of timber manufacturing in Kutch, Gujarat, which is basically operated by my dad, and I am involved more from a strategy perspective. So वहां से मुझे बहुत अच्छी क्यूज मिलती है कि कमोडिटीज कहाँ जा रहे हैं. So अगर आप देखोगे कोविड से लेके कंसिस्टेंटली दिसंबर तक कमोडिटी, अगर मैं अपने लकड़े जिस तरह से हम लोग परचेज करते हैं लकड़ा, वुडन लॉग्स फ्रॉम न्यूजीलैंड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, अमेरिका एंड उरुग्वे. सो एक वन वे प्राइसेस बढ़े थे फ्रॉम कोविड लोस टिल दिसंबर 2021. ठीक है. उसके बाद थोड़ी देर तक बाजार स्टेबल रहा और कंसिस्टेंटली गिरा है उसके बाद, स्पेसिफिकली फ्रॉम मार्च 2022 से अभी तक. If you talk to anyone in our industry, they are all bleeding in terms of the kind of inventory losses they have done. And everybody is very, very, very pessimistic about the near term. But if you ask any sensible, I mean, someone who has a very good insight on the industry for last 20 years, he will say that he's always saying today is that it is probably the lowest point in terms of pricing. We don't know when the price will move up and how much it will move up, but it is almost certain that it will move up from here. Is what the best minds of our industry are saying to us about this commodity. And generally commodity, ये पूरा बास्केट जो है ना, एक साथ में ऊपर जाता है, एक साथ में नीचे आता है, सब में डिफरेंट डिग्री ऑफ ग्रोथ एंड डिग्रोथ होता है, बट द मेजर साइकिल इज ऑलवेज इन टैंडम. So that is what I thought that I should add here to give some more flavor on how we look at commodities in general.
हेलो, यस सर. मेरा एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है. इफ प्रिंस मेरे को एडमिट, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है. इस
Yeah, Vimal, please go ahead.
I had to go. तो वाइफ डिनर के लिए बुला रही है, तो आई एम सॉरी गाइस, बट आई हैड टू गो. नेक्स्ट टाइम आई विल श्योरली जितने
Yeah,
टाइम
sure, mate. Thanks for your time. Yeah,
थैंक
we
यू.
understand.
ओके ओके, मेरा मीत सर से यही क्वेश्चन था. ओके, नेक्स्ट टाइम.
बोलो बोलो. हाँ डॉक्टर साहब बोलो.
सर, अभी आपने ट्वीट किया था कि आप एसआईएस में एग्जिस्ट किए, तो कुछ स्ट्रेटेजी बता सकते हो, कुछ रीजन?
सर इट्स बेटर टू, मतलब स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक पे इतना ज्यादा डिस्कशन नहीं कर सकते पब्लिक फोरम में, बट आई विल गिव यू सम हिंट कि उसका मार्जिन बहुत सर पहले से वेफर थे. इनफैक्ट मैनेजमेंट का ग्रोथ बहुत एग्रेसिव है, बट देयर इज नथिंग ऑन ऑन द एग्जीक्यूशनल पार्ट. चैलेंजेस बहुत आ रहे हैं सर. So it's better, they are buying back the shares and keeping the EPS up, but ROEs और ये सब देखो तो it's like better to switch to any other business. Sir इतना ही बोल पाऊंगा अभी. So we'll have some talk in on call some other time, and I will surely explain you in detail.
Okay sir, thank you sir, thank you.
Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you Ankit bhai, thank you Prince bhai.
Thank you, Deepai. Thank you so much for your time.
Sanjay, you can go next.
Yeah, thanks, Prince. This question is for Amit, and this is regarding the luggage industry, so which was discussed earlier. So, can I go ahead with that?
Please go ahead, Sanjay ji.
हाँ, तो I mean, basically, I think the one of the industries that was talked about, I think I can sort of give a counterpoint. Is that it's a seasonal business. I mean, which does well in 2 quarters, and the rest 2 quarters are down. It's I mean, it's a business where the leader market share has more or less stagnated. I think they are not gaining any market share. It's approximately 50%, so it doesn't grow beyond that. And then the third point could be that there is a glass ceiling they have in their turnover. So I mean, basically they cannot grow beyond what 1,000-1,200 crores. That is the kind of max they do. So I just wanted to understand as to how does he feel that there is growth there in this. I mean, there is a 2-3 year cycle, and then it sort of stagnates at that high point.
Very, very good question, Sanjay ji. So, first of all, I completely take your point in terms of seasonality. कि 2 क्वार्टर अच्छे होते हैं और 2 क्वार्टर सबड्यूड होते हैं. So that is fine ना, because ultimately what matters is एक साल में कितना रेवेन्यू बनता है और ओवर द ईयर हर ईयर कितना हो रहा है. And in terms of revenue, I don't know which company you are talking about. We discussed about VIP industries. तो 1,000 crore का सीलिंग जो आप बोल रहे हो, I think it has crossed that number long back. So I don't know why do you talk about that. I take your point again in terms of market share. That yes, market share has been stagnant because of multiple reasons. But you can understand one thing here is that when there is a big mega trend of unorganized to organized shift, even if organized shift में organized market में इनका market अगर 50% भी रह जाता है, if the whole shift happens on a yearly basis 10% के rate पे, तो आप सोच लो ना कि कितना इनका sales बढ़ेगा. Even if they maintain this 50% market share and the market grows every year, even then you will make money, provided they continue to maintain their market standing. Now, there are risks, not just from existing players, but also from newer players who are being very, very, very innovative in the way they are selling luggages. So that is the space we have to be more wary of than the existing incumbents, right? So that is a big risk. Of course, disruption कहीं पे भी आ सकता है, यहाँ पे भी आएगा, यहाँ पे भी आ सकता है, and you have to keep a track. And as I said, right now they are getting the advantage of the travel tailwinds. Look at airports, look at weddings in India. Look at the number of people, number of new school-going children every month, every year. So track these data. Track the number of people who are taking flight in India nowadays. So all these will give you an indication. And look at uh, how if a country where we think that सब कोई बैंकिंग की बात करते हैं कि नहीं इकोनॉमी ये हो रहा है तो उसके बैंकिंग सेक्टर पे ये मिलेगा और अगर अगर इकोनॉमी ग्रो होगा तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि लोग छोटे शहरों से बड़े शहर जाएंगे और काम करने के लिए और ज्यादा लोगों को ज्यादा अच्छी जॉब मिलेगी मतलब वो ट्रैवल करेंगे घर से निकल के बाहर जाएंगे ऑफिस जाएंगे तो आप आज के दिन पहले की जगह मोर पीपल आर कैरिंग जिसको बोलते हैं ना आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द नेम ऑफ दैट बैग पीछे जो हम लोग लैपटॉप वाला बैग लगा के रखते हैं उस तरह का बैग ज्यादा लोग कैरी करते हैं आजकल कंपेयर टू
Backpack. Backpack.
बैकपैक
Backpack.
बैकपैक थैंक यू रवि सो बैकपैक को ज्यादा यूज सो लुक एट दोज ट्रेंड्स ऑफ कोर्स
Right.
कंपटीशन इज देयर ऑफ कोर्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का प्रॉब्लम है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इनका अभी तक जिसको बोलते हैं ना ये ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म ये सॉरी ये जो प्लेटफॉर्म्स वाले इसमें जैसे अमेजोन एंड ऑल में इनका बहुत कम प्रेजेंस है लेकिन वो एक बहुत बड़ा रिस्क है क्योंकि जो नए प्लेयर्स आ रहे हैं वो उस तरह के ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू बहुत ज्यादा फास्ट ग्रो कर सकते हैं और अगर ये लोग कैचअप नहीं करेंगे दे विल प्रोबेबली लूज दैट दीज आर द थिंग्स यू हैव टू कीप ऑन ट्रैकिंग कंपटीशन बिकॉज यहाँ पे इनका कोई सीक्रेट फॉर्मूला नहीं है कि ये कैसे बैग बना रहे हैं बैग सब कोई वैसे ही बना रहे हैं और कोई भी बना सकता है तो इनका मार्केट शेयर डेफिनेटली अगर 50% से 30% हो जाता है 40% हो जाता है दैट इज अ बिग रिस्क दैट यू हैव टू कीप ऑन इवेल्युएटिंग ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम बट just because the market share is stagnating you should not be bearish on the stock if the market itself is growing at a very healthy rate. I hope Sanjay ji I could answer your question or if you have a
Right.
follow up
I
I
mean,
will
just one small point उसमें is that जो टर्नओवर के बारे में जो मैंने बताया था आई डोंट रिकॉल व्हाट इज द टर्नओवर बट बेसिकली जो उनका प्री कोविड टर्नओवर जो हाई हाई रहा है तो दैट आई थिंक दे विल अचीव मे बी इन नेक्स्ट 1 or 2 years so I mean so basically
so
that is the glass ceiling I am saying कि मतलब उस
no
टर्नओवर
no
को
no
they are not
I
they
think
are not thinking of adding products or I mean I almost have a feeling like kind of टाइटन का जो सिचुएशन था एक जमाने में कि हाँ इट वाज जस्ट आई मीन दिस वॉचेस कंपनी सो दे आर नॉट सॉर्ट ऑफ आई मीन इनके जो अर्लियर जो डाइवर्सिफिकेशंस थे दे हैव क्लोज डाउन दे हैड गॉन इनटू फर्नीचर एंड lots of other things so most of that they have closed down so they are not growing the business they are not expanding in terms of other ancillary areas etc so that is the I mean if you want you can comment on this.
sure, Sanjay ji. So just on the point of turnover, so if I remember correctly, it was around 1800 crore FY19 में, ठीक है? और FY20 में भी वही 1800 की जगह 1700 के आसपास हुआ था. उसके बाद understand travel and travel related businesses were the most hit businesses of all the businesses around. Even despite that, if you look at the trailing 12 months, because I did that calculation recently in the after this Q1 FY23 call, if you look at the trailing 12 months turnover of VIP, it is exactly almost same as what it was in FY19. So ऐसा भी नहीं कि वो कवर नहीं हुआ है, आप जो बोल रहे हैं एक साल बाद, ट्रेलिंग 12 मंथ में तो क्रॉस कर चुके हैं वो, जो उनका
Okay.
प्री कोविड हाई था. So
Okay.
these facts I think you should recheck. I think there must have been some understanding difference. Apart from that, I agree there are risks. कोई बिजनेस बेदाग नहीं होता है. अगर बेदाग नहीं होगा तो अगर वो नेस्ले जैसा होगा और एचयूएल जैसा होगा तो उसका वैल्यूएशन भी वैसा ही होगा, राइट?
Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू संजय
One,
जी.
one thing, Sanjay ji, though the market share for VIP will not increase, might increase also because Samsonite is doing poorly worldwide. So might be a space for VIP to climb up the value chain and grab some market share from the Samsonite and American Tourister of the world. By the way, Samsonite operation in India you can track because the Indian operation, the 16-17% of Samsonite is with Tenwala Chemical, which is a listed company. Apart from
Okay.
that, what problem are having on the luggage side now, there is affordability factor, which is VIP is already on the premium segment. Though they have aristocrat brand at the mass market, but their most of the products are positioned for the premium segment. So that segment, apart from segment itself, the market share may not grow. The segment grows, and whatever premiumization they can attract from competition like Samsonite and everything. But I agree they will grow at that 8-10% तो growth आ जाएगा once the economy is back because offices will open. Still, a major consumer is IT sector. IT sector still people are working few days from home and few days from office. So that recycle shelf life now that is getting elongated in last 2 years. That also might normalize in next few quarters, and that will be a decent time for the VIP. I track very closely Safari. That's have an added advantage. They right sit at the juncture where the unorganized to organized shift happens because the price point of Safari is like that. So you can see that as well.
Thank you.
Yep. Welcome.
Thanks, Ravi. And guys, as I was telling you before, when we start a space, we start with one, then comes one, and then comes one. So we have one, one, one. So Ankit, it was really great to have you today, and it is always great to look forward to your humbleness and ever smiling face with so much of insights and humility, which is very much required in all market situations. And even Ravi has been equally intelligent and into equity research, so he also always add his points to our session. So guys, do check our handles. You will find a lot of market related thing on our handles, and even all the good podcast or learning books or stuff which we get and find useful for us, we share with you all. So connecting with our handles give access to that. We are not selling anything, so that information shared on Twitter is purely free. And yes, the ethical way of giving a service is always an option for everyone, and we associate with people just like Ankit, who has been into this and doing it so successfully and ethically, and bringing so many learned people to his platforms so as to educate his community members. Kudos for that. And Ankit, keep the momentum going, and we really like your con call snippets and everything you share over your handle. So thank you so much. Any concluding remarks from your side, Ankit?
Not much, Prince. Thank you again. Thank you again, Prince, for inviting me and Smart Sync Services on your platform. You are doing a good service to for the investing community, and I really want to thank, with the bottom of my heart, to all the listeners who have stayed there for last 2 hours and listened to our conversation. I tried to be as honest as possible with all the questions, with my view. I would only warn you that these are all our views and we are all biased in our own ways. So please, सुनो सबकी करो अपनी मन की, एक बहुत फेमस बात है. I'll repeat that. Try to take views from as many people as possible, but you have to use your own mind as to, so any company or any sector where we have shared any view, you need not invest in those sectors. You, if you think that that those sectors will not do well, you are free to not use it or not invest in them. Apart from that, I would like to thank my team at SmartSync Services. Many a times, I being the face get all the credit, but it is a team of very good, hardworking individuals. Uh, very young team, passionate team. So I would like to thank my team as well.
Thank you, Ankit. And guys, for your knowledge, this session was recorded and the recording will be available on my handle. And as soon as I get time, I will try to place it over my YouTube channel with the name of Accidental Investor. So, guys, you can subscribe to that channel. You will find so many podcasts with different learned people at one place. So anytime you can revisit and learn from that. And again, I would say you can check handle of Ankit, Ravi, and others who meet even. And if you like my work, you can also check mine. So with this, I thank you all for keeping for so long and being so consistent. And we try to bring experts from different expertise. The like when you enter market you try to learn things and initially you like everything but over a period of time you form your own framework which is more on like uh, your temperament your behavior. So if we keep bringing different people you can relate with your journey and learn the nuances. So idea is you learn and do your diligence on your part. So, as Ankit and others have rightly put the disclaimers, any names taken during the conversation were purely for illustrations. Their views can be biased. They may or may not keep the positions in any of the names taken. So, that should be taken with a pinch of salt. And with this, I thank again Ankit and Team SmartSync Services for offering their services and being so honest and transparent in whatever they do. And the best part is like the humility, which is very rare. So Ankit is one person amongst our community which is very who is very humble and approachable. So keep connected, guys, and networking is one thing which can help us all. So good night to all, and we will have another spaces soon, and we'll keep you posted. So do retweet the pinned threads if you like, and also you can subscribe to our channels. Even Ravindra also has channel where whenever he gets time he posts many videos. So good night, guys. Thank you.